It is one of the marquee matchups that we have for you here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Parker Jackson Cartwright strapping the New Zealand Breakers to his back, taking on the benchmark, Bryce Cotton. And now that the Breakers are back in town, they are fixed to try and put some more wins in the column. And for the Perth Wildcats, it's much the same on the road today. Here's Austin, our Kmart Game Time ball kid. He's locked and loaded for this afternoon, and so are we. I'm Jack Heverin, Damon Lowry alongside me as we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder. D, good evening to you.
Jack, my man, Saturday night. Yeah, man, it's game day, and we love it, man. Big matchup today between the Breakers and Perth. We obviously got the backcourt. Every guard in the country, pay attention to this game. PJC on one end and Bryce Cotton on the other end. It's going to be fireworks.
New Zealand are saying that it's not an excuse. There's their new coach, Perth Cotton, and they're saying that the travel factor is not a factor. It's about just focusing on the job at hand. But it would be remiss of us not to at least have a look at what they've done in the season so far.
I totally agree with Coach Cop. I'm calling him the good cop for saying things like that. He's got to set the tones. But look, this travel is out of control. Now, I wish we had some squiggly lines to talk about which place they went to first. But I like what he said, no excuses. This team, I think, bonded over this long road trip. I think every team in the league should have to have some type of adversity like this to start the season so they can just get callous, Jack. So the Breakers, I feel like, will come back a better team as a result of that.
They are saying that it's not an excuse, but you do have to wonder if it's going to be a factor for them in the next couple of weeks. Travel fatigue was never a factor for Tom Abercrombie. He's a legend here in the NBL, a four-time champion, and he's courtside at Spark Arena tonight. Tom, great to have you with us. No excuses. That's the mantra of the Breakers right now.
Oh, kia ora koutou. Welcome back to Spark Arena, and you're right, it might be no excuses from the Breakers, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. And I'm exhausted just looking at that graphic. It's bringing back some bad memories for me, but the boys arrived back last night. They had a walkthrough at their training venue, and they're ready to go tonight against their arch rivals and old-time favourites, the Perth Wildcats.
Tom, good to see you, man. What's your thoughts on the Perth Wildcats? Obviously, we know what Bryce has been doing, but what about the rest of the team? How much trust do you have in the others, so to speak?
Yeah, I think it's been an inconsistent start for the Wildcats, but they've finally got their full roster together tonight. Obviously, they're led by Bryce Cotton, and I'm looking forward just to sitting back and watching him instead of chasing him around on the court out there tonight. It's going to be a pleasure to watch from the sidelines and call it with you fellas.
And is it an absolute pleasure to have you part of our coverage this year, Tom. Great to have you with us tonight as well. We spoke about this marquee matchup off the top, Damon. Parker Jackson Cartwright v Bryce Cotton. You go back to Thursday when the Breakers lost to Brisbane. PJC had 12 in really quick time. He looked like he was on for a 40-piece at one stage.
This is my man right here. He's the vice president of the Little Big Man Society, and Parker can score. It don't matter what country this dude is playing in. He's got the mid-range game working. He's got his three-ball working, and we all know that he's a known thief. But what I like most about Parker's game so far this season is his leadership, Jack. Last year, he probably deferred a bit to the imports of Will McDowell-White, but this year he's been way more vocal post-game and pre-game.
If you watch one matchup for the night, it's this one. It's the reason that we spoke about it off the top. PJC versus the benchmark, Bryce Cotton. And have a look at Bryce's shooting stats to start NBL25. He is absolutely shooting the lights out, and that was the case last Thursday when the Wildcats went to far north Queensland. They played the Cairns Taipans in their gym, and that man did a number on them.
Mr. and Mrs. Cotton's boy. Hey, what can you say about this dude? He's in a society all to himself. Bryce just knows how to turn it on when it's time to. Rob Edwards found out the hard way. He poked the bear, and the bear got loose. Now, one thing about Bryce, he's going to always be an ultra competitor, but I want to see if he can get his teammates involved. We know what Christian Doolittle's going to do, but it's those other guys, Jack. It's Keanu Penders, Dylan Windler. I need to see more from the rest of his team so I can take them a little bit more seriously.
Well, the good news for the Wildcats is that Keanu Pinder is back into the lineup tonight after passing concussion protocols. And so much with the last couple of years as Perth has always been about who else is coming with Bryce. So far, Christian Doolittle is very much riding front seat.
Christian Doolittle is a grown-ass man, ladies and gentlemen. This dude averaging a lazy 15 and 10. He's doing it so quietly and efficiently. That's what I like. He's got this mid-range game, and we always know what kind of defense he's also going to play. Whatever you do, be careful in any kind of halftime interview with this dude because he's locked in. But Christian, we ain't got to worry about him.
He's having a fabulous season so far, and in the eyes of many, he might be the leading candidate for the most improved player in the season so far as we take a look at the starting fives for both teams. Parker Jackson Cartwright, Matt Mooney, I should say, Jonah Polden, Sam Menenga, and Max Darling starting again tonight for the Breakers.
Yeah, Max Darling is giving them something that I can't quite put my finger on. Maybe he's a glue guy, plays hard-nosed defense as we look at the Perth Wildcats. The starting five, we pretty much saw this one coming.
Dylan Windler on screen right there, averaging a little under 10 rebounds a game. So between Pinder, Doolittle, and Windler, they're shining a lot of glass, the Wildcats.
And that's the thing that John really wanted to make an improvement on from last season, that glass protection, if you will. So we'll see how they go.
The Breakers back at home at Spark Arena to start our Saturday night hoops doubleheader. Cairns and Illawarra coming up next. Here's Windler. Successful from outside. Rebound by Matt Mooney, 13 points on Thursday, but he struggled shooting the ball, was 1 of 9 from deep. Nenga had that stolen away by Cotton. Straight down the floor, he wants to get busy quick. Just to defer to Webster. A gym that'll be familiar to him, he draws the foul.
Bryce goes down with what looks like a contusion of some sort. But just watching how Ty Webster, the whole state of WA right now, Jack, the whole state of WA, he'll be okay. But Ty Webster coming down, let's see what happened here. Ty goes to the hoop, gets whacked on the back of the head by Jonah. Didn't see what happened to Bryce, but this is what Johnny really was talking about they were missing. Ty Webster's stats are not going to leap off the page, but he's so devastated in transition. He makes the little things happen, and he's key to taking pressure off Bryce.
See Bryce in the background there still. Looks a bit sore in the midriff. Just to back that point up on Ty Webster, the opening scorer of the night, there is Bryce Cotton. Normally in this instance you'd say he's sucking in the deep ones, but he can't really suck in the deep ones at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to be the most talked about ribs in all of Australia if he doesn't come good, but I think he'll be fine.
So Perth 2-1 this season with Ty Webster, 1-2 without him.
He's key, he's a starting point guard. Like I said, nothing's going to be leaping off the pace, but he's just that glue guy, and he's a good defender. He does all those intangible things that don't always make the stat sheet.
Sam Menenga, first year with the Breakers, formerly of the Cairns Taipans. Pass is a little sloppy. Jackson Cartwright had to try and invent something. Webster back out to Pinder, downhill foul.
Two things on that one, sorry, Jack. Ty Webster defends Sam Menenga on the block down there. Did not give up a bucket. They get a turnover. He's in transition, makes something happen. Now Keanu Pinder is on the line. These are the little intangibles that man right there, Ty Webster, brings to the team. And it's good to help Keanu Pinder get off to a good start.
This is first. This round 4 with concussion. Keanu Pinder. All clear and ready to go. And so far, so good. A perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line for the Wildcats. Ty Webster, any extra motivation or drive to succeed when he comes back to New Zealand, do you think?
Ooh, I don't know if the water is still under the bridge on that one, but I feel like he's a Wildcat now. As we see PJC get Jonah Bowden on the stripe, which is somewhere that he ain't never been. This season, NBL25, this is Jonah Bowden's first free throw attempts. He loves the 3-ball, but this is where I feel like Jonah's got to expand his game. You don't want to just rely on the pick and pop action. I like to see him use his size, draw some fouls, and get himself some easy points from the stripe.
It's a remarkable stat that he's gone best part of 3 games, and these are his first free throws.
Yeah, says it all right there.
Extended pressure from the Breakers. Played Thursday night against the Brisbane Bullets. 84-73 was the final score at Boondall. And Breakers might have just ran out a bit of gas late in that game, which is something that they will have to contend with in the next week or so. Darling blocks Webster. Emphatic block. Wildcats reload. Doolittle steps back. And that rebound by Max Darling.
Max Darling just doing just a little bit. He's back there as the rim protector in that situation. Mid-range bucket.
You called it. He's so comfortable there.
All you guards in Australia and New Zealand, don't let anybody tell you the mid-range is dead.
Averaging a little under 20 points a game. Bryce Cotton has got a real problem here. You can just see him off to the left of screen. He's calling for a sub. Jackson Cartwright took him to the candy shop and can't finish off. Bolden tips it in. But the big story right now is Bryce Cotton, who is in serious discomfort, Tom Abercrombie.
Yeah, he's just limping off to the locker room now. Looks like he's clutching his ribs. I wouldn't be surprised if he might have cracked a rib or something on that early collision earlier in the game. He's been holding it ever since. Anyone who's done that knows how uncomfortable it can be, but he's gone back to the locker room to get it checked out, but it's not looking good for Bryce.
Gee, that is not good.
Damn. I think I speak for the entire league in all of Western Australia when I say, damn. Hopefully it's not broken. I've had bruised ribs before, and I know how much that hurt. I hate to think what that would feel like if it's broken.
Windler got his own rebound. Got it well off the rim. Here's Henschel checking into the game. Cotton follows up. New Zealand's been a happy hunting ground for him. He had a fantastic winter playing in the NBL.
Now Ben Henschel, this dude's a scorer. Like he doesn't care about how old he is, how long he's been in the league. Do not disrespect him for a second. Love everything about his game.
Shot clock at 7. Menenga had to seal. Good score with the left hand. 6 apiece at Spark Arena. Windler catch and shoot 3. That's his 3rd look from outside. All have been unsuccessful. Matt Mooney down low to Menenga. You can see Bryce Cotton in the tunnel as play goes on here. Darling for 3. Oh. What a start to the game for Max Darling.
Max Darling, that was his only 7th shot of the season, Jack. 7. The dude don't shoot all that much, but don't think he can't shoot just because he doesn't shoot.
He shot it like he meant it. That's fine. Clinical offense from Perth.
And we saw earlier a little shot of Bryce headed in the locker room. The way he was holding his ribs, I think we've seen the last of him today.
Get another look at it all shortly. Mooney relocates. Another corner pocket 3 for the Breakers. Back to back, and they lead by 4.
That's a guy who we're expecting a lot of this season, Matt Mooney. Reputation as a shooter, but only been shooting 30% from deep water. Good to see him get that one to go.
It's taking a little bit of time to settle in here in the NBL, but starting to pay dividends. Darling.
Hello, Darling.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 from the identical spot.
Oh! Max Darling said you can throw the stat sheet out the window. Corner, 3 balls, back to back.
Here is the Amy replay. The find from Jackson Cartwright was spot on. And Max Darling is feeling himself early on.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you. This man is capable, and he's willing. Now, Perth Wildcats, Jack, they got some decisions to make right now. They're not used to this situation, playing without Bryce, especially in a game that he started in. So how do they readjust now? Who takes over is the lead scorer on this particular team? They got questions to answer.
Very happy early on, Petteri Koppinen, but Tom, the big story here is Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, sorry, no updates from Bryce Cotton. He still hasn't come out of the locker room, but John really pretty animated in this timeout. A lot more positive on the Breakers side. As you've been talking about, Max Darling looking absolutely fantastic out there. Trained with them all year last year. He was a development player with the Breakers. Been around for the NBL for quite a long time, and he's just struggled with some injuries, but I think he's getting healthy now. We're starting to see what he can do. He's a really strong body. They really value his defense out there, which we saw earlier on with that block shot. And we're going to have another look at the Bryce Cotton injury now, I think.
So here it is. It didn't look like there was a lot in it, Damon. Wonder whether it's some sort of muscular type thing as opposed to ribs.
Yeah, I didn't see much contact neither. We know he's not faking. We know that much. But you just can't do much with that kind of injury. Like, if you can't breathe, you can't stand up, you can't extend yourself.
Cotton out of the game, and the Breakers, I was just about to say, shooting the lights out, but that wasn't one that works. That'll work from Pinder.
Any easy bucket Keanu can get to help himself get going is more than welcome. So now the Breakers got the question, Jack. They can't relax thinking this game is over because Bryce isn't playing, because it's all professionals out here on the floor.
He just got 6 points quickly. There's some scoring punch on the floor for Perth. Elijah Pepper into the game, as well as Ben Henschel, Windler, Pinder, and Doolittle. They're 5 out there at the moment. Doolittle blocked!
Hello, darling. Darling said, don't come in here with that.
And now at the other end, Gillespie with a big jam.
Wow.
The Breakers look switched on.
Block number 2 for Max Darling gets PJC out in transition. And Freddie Gillespie, who's been quiet, he's been hearing all this taco talk. Good to see him finishing with a nice dunk in transition. Can he get 2?
And a steal. Jackson Cartwright had to go himself in the end. Nice hustle from Gillespie. All the 1%ers at the moment, Damon. All the little things, the Breakers are winning. Shot clock at 5. What? Great hands from Pepper. Pick the pocket of PJC.
Looks like
Good Lord.
2 possession.
He timed that perfectly. Nothing but all ball. And then PJC in transition for Freddie G. But I just saw a cow jump over a moon. Did PJC just get picked by Pepper?
Unsportsmanlike foul on PJC. Was that a pig that just flew past the window?
Good Lord. You don't see that every day.
Elijah Pepper. We'll talk about settling in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Got acclimatised very quickly in round 2. Put 18 on the Sydney Kings. 5 from outside.
Elijah Pepper's a scorer. Scorer in college. It's in his DNA. Anybody in Australia, especially from the Ringwood, Victoria region, will remember his father, Ryan Pepper, ball hog that he was, getting buckets out here. No, Elijah can score the ball, no doubt about that.
Jackson Cartwright sits down. Just the 2 points, but does have 3 assists. And it's the Breakers who lead by 6. Hiram Harris, another Kiwi. On the floor for Perth. Trying to force his way in. He's determined. He won't stop until he finds a path to the basket.
The determined Hiram, an under-assuming scorer. I might just check in on Mr. Abercrombie. Hey, Jack, that sideline commentary, Rookie of the Year award, that's heating up between Ariana Prather and Tom Abercrombie. Hey, Tom, you guys experienced something similar this last year what Perth was going through when Anthony Lamb went out. How did you guys handle it, and how do you think Perth should handle this?
Yeah, Davo, look, timing is a little different. Lamb went out right before the playoffs. Who knows what's happened to Bryce so far, but I think happening so early on in the game can be a bit of a shock for the team. They've got to readjust. He's such a big part about what they do at the offensive end and how they play, but at least they do have the remainder of their full roster at their disposal here tonight, so it's a good chance for some other guys to get some burn.
Freddie Gillespie's foul. Just to go back on that, Tom, a little bit further, as you say, so much of what Perth do is structured around Bryce Cotton. So how big of a challenge is this for John Rillie to now find new avenues to score?
Well, look, I think the other guys are going to step up and enjoy probably having a little bit more freedom on the offensive end and getting some more shots. But it's also an adjustment for the Breakers too, because they will have adjusted all of their schemes around how they're going to guard Bryce, and all of a sudden how Perth play is going to change. So they're going to have to make some adjustments as well.
Freddie Gillespie misses the first. Ethan Almanza, the next star, in for the first time tonight for the Wildcats.
Where's he from, Jack?
Spain.
Hola, mi amigo.
I was waiting for it.
I'm spewing Kareem Lopez. They ain't playing today. We'd have had a nice little Spanish-speaking duel going.
Teenage sensation not out there tonight. Henschel drives and denied by Gillespie.
Hey, Freddie, I'm over here pumping my fist every time you do something good, man. He's had a quiet start to NBL25. They brought him out here, Jack, as a defensive player, but I still feel he's got more offense in his bag. He hasn't been playing a whole lot of minutes, neither, maybe 15 or 16 a game, as Hiram Harris gets himself another bucket in an and one. So Freddie G, we need to see him be a little bit more aggressive to bump up that productivity.
He came with a reputation, Freddie Gillespie, as being a big-time rim protector in European basketball as well. Those sorts of players in this league are worth their weight in gold. Harris makes the extra. And it's a two-point game at Spark Arena. Damon Lowry, Tom Abercrombie, Jack Hemron with you tonight. First of two games. Cairns and Illawarra from the Convention Centre to come later on. Taipans will be without Taron Armstrong and Tanner Groves, so a big challenge on their home floor. Mooney pulls up. Looks nice out of the hand.
Yeah, that stroke looks great. Great screen by Freddie Gillespie. Set a re-screen, got him open, and Matt Mooney didn't hesitate. That 30% three-point percentage is climbing.
Does he seem more confident now, do you think?
I think he does, too. I mean, after being in a few games, sometimes it just takes a little while. There's a whole lot of dribbling. Max Darling ain't having it, Jack.
That was tough. Great D from Max Darling. Forced a difficult look, and the Breakers get the ball back.
Max Darling, we're going to have we have an all-NBL first team, second team. We need an all-NBL glue team. I'm already nominating Max Darling after what I've just seen for this first quarter.
He's in. Mitch McCarron. Anticevic on the floor for the Breakers. Mooney, similar spot. Turn the corner and drives it through.
All you shooters out there, did you see the footwork? Matt Mooney can catch it and go left to right with his feet, right to left. That's a shooter.
9 points now for Matt Mooney. A perfect 3 of 3 from the field. He's the game's leading scorer. Wildcats searching for answers with no Cotton. Doolittle has that rattle out from the elbow. It's been that sort of quarter.
Yeah, he turned down the three-point shot, maybe because he's shooting 15% from out there, but good job by Grant Anticevic following the scout. Darling, stop it. Oh.
A mile away. Doolittle coast to coast. Great take, Christian Doolittle, that's tough.
Coast to coast, nobody wanted to step in his way and take a charge. Matt Mooney made a business decision. Got out of the way, he said, I got 3 pointers to make up the other end.
Here is Matt Mooney, tracks the crowd, nice pass. Anticevic could knock it down. The Wildcats hanging in. Ty Webster sent the check back in. Pepper with all sorts of room to fire. Good look goes begging. Gillespie. Hand off to Mooney. That's enough room. Breakers thought that ball was out of play, but the Wildcats are going to march on up the other end. Both teams missing some easy looks to finish the quarter.
I don't even think Christian Doolittle made it across half court in that possession. They can't wait for this buzzer to go off.
8 seconds before quarter time. Mooney will have to give it up. McCarron at the buzzer, doesn't get it to go. It's the Breakers by 6 at quarter time, but the big story from the Wildcats' perspective is the health of Bryce Cotton. It's Saturday Night Hoops from Spark Arena in New Zealand. Second quarter's up next. The Hungry Jacks, NBL. to have your company for Saturday Night Hoops, a big doubleheader, and we start at Spark Arena in New Zealand, and a big story developing here. Bryce Cotton left the game midway through the first quarter in severe discomfort, and his team are trailing 18-24 at quarter time. Damon Lowry, we're trying to get minute-by-minute updates on what's happening here because, as I say, it's a massive story.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. Nobody's giving us any info yet. We didn't see any major contact or anything that would cause Bryce to be in that kind of pain. But yeah, it's totally taking a little bit of the shine off the game. It was so anticipated. But the show goes on. Anticevic, cornered three ball.
They are shooting the ball well. 60% from outside to start the game, the Breakers. Tom Abercrombie, how'd you see that first quarter?
Yeah, look, fantastic start from the Breakers. I was in it at the back of their timeout after that quarter break, and pretty composed from Coach Kopp, as he usually is, just talking about some strategic things. The Perth Wildcats switching a lot on defense. They want to try and post up Sam Meninga and try just get a bit more movement off the ball, talking about getting some cutters and filling those spots on the weak sides. You see the lovely take from Mahami King.
Double-figure lead. Alarm bells ringing for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they are, Jack. They got to find 22 extra points that Bryce would normally put up as a minimum. And they haven't been known as, you know, their bench unit don't score a whole lot as it is. Somebody, this man right here, hopefully, somebody's got to step up for Perth. And in the meantime, that defense got to hold the fort because you can see the Breakers are getting up and down.
0-4, Dylan Windler. Meninga wants to get in on the act. Everyone's knocking down threes. That's 7 of 11.
Cue the hotter than line. Hotter than Townsville in the summertime, the Breakers right now. As Jesse says, I got one of those too.
They needed that. Back to 11. You turn to the veteran, as they've done so often across his career, Jesse Wagstaff. Windler takes care of the rebound. His first of the game.
Coming in, averaging 10 rebounds too, Dylan Windler. A very unassuming great rebounder as Hiram Harris checks out. Kendall Pender, the guy to his left, Jack, in a game especially of this magnitude with Bryce being out, this is typically a Keanu Pender game that I would be expecting 20 to 25 points. But right now, something's going on rotation-wise is having this man not on the floor as much as we would have thought.
He only played 6 minutes so far in the game. Tom Abercrombie's got the latest on Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, look, I've just heard from a staff member, Bryce Cotton has been taken to hospital with a suspected broken rib.
Gee, that's horrible news.
Yeah, that is extremely unfortunate. And there's nothing you can do with a broken rib except heal. Just wait for it to heal.
Michael Harris for three. And here John really getting frustrated on the sidelines, but he's got greater problems than the officiating right now. But Grant Anticevic has got a whole lot of problems with that three.
Nothing but what kind of air, Jack?
Fresh New Zealand air, Damon.
He'll have a seat because of that. But yeah, Perth's gonna have to make sure they slow this game down now. You don't want to get in a track meet. It's gonna be hard because PJC is a track star, but they gotta control tempo without Bryce being out there.
Webster draws contact. So try and help us understand the player's mindset here, Damon. You played with some stars in your time. When you lose your #1 guy, does it take someone else to say, okay, I'm going to be our guy now, or is it more of a collective approach?
It's got to be a collective approach. I mean, when it first happens, because you key so much on your superstar as a teammate, A, you feel bad for him, so there's that miniature sadness you go through. But as a group, everybody got to look at each other and go, everybody got to pitch in. Everybody got to chip in a little bit more than normal.
Timeout by the Breakers, a late one from Coach Cotton. New Zealand have conceded the last 4 points in the game, which is just enough for him to want to have a chat about things.
And he sees some signs, some easy things in transition they got to clean up. Also, the early games, they've already dropped one to Brisbane. They've almost given away a couple of games. They go through these passages to just get real slack where opposition can just get easy stuff. So they got to tighten it up.
They lead 32-23 in the Tangerine timeout. Tom Abercrombie caught up with Jonah Bolden pre-game.
Well, Jonah Bolden, welcome back to New Zealand. Breakers been on the road for a long time. How are you feeling? How's the team feeling? How are you feeling being back home?
Team's feeling good. Team's feeling really good. Yeah, long road trip. You know, our thing is no excuses coming back. Unfortunately, took an L, you know, a few nights ago, so we're looking to bounce back tonight and come back stronger.
And just on your own game, looks like you're fitting into your role here in New Zealand pretty well as that stretch big who can shoot the three and pretty active rebounder. How are you finding New Zealand so far?
Yeah, great. You know, like you said, yeah, I am getting more comfortable. We've got a great unit. Guys are getting more comfortable with each other playing. I think we're kind of finding our niche within each other, playing off of one another. But yeah, feeling great.
Saw him last season playing with the Sydney Kings in his return to basketball. This season has taken his talents to New Zealand.
Yep, that old SOB, son of Bruce. He's this is a spot, I had him, Jack, in the preseason as my most improved. Because last year he was kind of buried a little bit. There was weird stuff going on in Sydney. I feel like New Zealand give him a nice fresh start. I like to see him be a little bit more aggressive than what he has been, but it's still good to see him active early in this particular game.
Breakers ball from the baseline. Do you want to see him post up more? Do you want to see him play more in the paint?
He's 6'11", minimum 6'11". Coming into this game, Jack, he's had 21 total shots, and 17 of them have been threes. Now, damn, I mean, we know you can shoot, Jonah, but you're also 6'11". I like to see him just use his size. If he adds that little element to his game, kind of what his dad had, he'd be extra, extra tough.
Dylan Windler in the open floor. Nice finish.
Too easy in transition. Good job by Perth, but bad job by the Breakers, and that's what Coach Pop called that timeout for. He just gave up another easy bucket.
6 unanswered points, which doesn't sound like a lot but for the Wildcats, it's a nice little run that they're enjoying. McCarron lets it fly. That's short as well. Breakers seem to have gone away from a lot of the stuff that was working for them in the first quarter. Play back through Doolittle. Shot clock into single figures. Muscles his way in. And then he'll be shooting free throws.
And those are the type of shots, like we talked about Jonah Bolden earlier, that when you commit to getting a shot like that, you're going to put pressure on the defense. You're going to put pressure on the referees to call fouls. The league knows that Christian Doolittle doesn't want to take that three ball, so everybody's playing him off and playing the gap in him. But he's eating up that space, getting into your body, and he's such a great athlete that he can make that mid-range shot and put you under all kind of pressure.
Numbers don't lie with Christian Doolittle. His improvement from last season to this season has been a big one for the Perth Wildcats. He's second in the competition at the start of the round, Damon, in the rebound count, also minutes played. He's played 35 minutes a game.
Iron Man type stuff. In this era, 35 minutes is Iron Man type stuff.
It's normally where Gazy and Cope say. When we played, things have changed. Meninga, size advantage over Webster. That will be on Pinder reaching in.
And you know what?
He's second.
Yeah, and Ty's frustrated because he says, I don't need any help down here. You don't need this. You don't need to dig down there, Keanu. That's the second time prior to that Ty has held his own on the block with Sam Meninga. So they got to trust him. Ty is stronger than what he looks.
Apologies, that foul's been given to Ty Webster, not Keanu Pinder. So one for Webster, one for Pinder. The player with any real foul issues right now is Parker Jackson Cartwright. He's got a couple. 5.5 minutes before halftime. Mooney's been excellent so far. Couldn't score that time. The Wildcats are in good rhythm all of a sudden. Doolittle steps back.
Numbers don't lie. 15% from deep water and declining. And it leads to this.
It is very, very clunky right now from New Zealand.
And Lenara Copeland made a great point in yesterday's call it gets clunky sometimes when you take out your main guys who built a nice little lead and they starting to get into a nice rhythm, and then the subs come in, and then it changes. Now, yes, everybody's deep. Everybody just about got 2 starting fives on every team, but sometimes the coaches need to let the 5 assert themselves, get a nice proper lead, and then these bench guys can get on a little bit later. I agree with Coach on that one.
Webster into the lane. Baldwin got a piece of it. Nice pass for a wide open Matt Mooney, who is enjoying himself tonight. He's got 12 on 4 of 6.
Great ball movement. Max Darling turned down the shot. Jonah turned down the shot. That's letting the ball do the work. That's good team play.
A steadying bucket for New Zealand. They conceded the last 9 in the game. Christian Doolittle.
But then again, Damon, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Christian don't give a damn about that 15%.
What are you saying about those numbers? You shoot enough, one of them's got to drop, surely.
Even a broke clock is right twice a day.
Doolittle pulls up. Time off the front. Max Darling with another rebound. That's 4 to go with his 6 points. Here's Menenga. McCarron crashes the glass. Wanted a foul, but just wanted it that little bit more.
Yeah, real active on the glass, the breakers. I thought Jonah could have went down the middle and made something happen, but he kicked it out to a wide open Sam Menenga. But then Mitch McCarron doing what he likes to do. Great rebounding guard.
Windler underneath. Now the game's starting to open up. It's 4 for Dylan Windler. 37-32 at Spark Arena. Saturday night hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
You can see right now, Jack, fatigue is a factor, and it's going to lead to some sloppy play. Who can just tighten it up when they're exhausted?
Jackson Cartwright at the scorer's table, as is Ben Henschel for the Wildcats. Pinder rolls to the basket. Beautiful find.
And those are the Ty Webster things he can do. Out of the pick and roll, makes a good pass like that. Because if that's Bryce Cotton, that same pick and roll, he might find a way to get his shot off, which is what they expect him to do. Ty is the distributing guard on this particular team, so good to find. Nice little pocket pass. Keanu needs points for his confidence. Good job by Ty.
Pinder at the line. Ty Webster sits down.
Got to protect him from himself sometimes. Got a couple, well, I shouldn't say bad calls. If the ref calls it, it was a call. So you got to protect yourself a little bit better than that.
They've done really well to hang around here, Perth. Jesse Wagstaff comes back in. They trailed by as much as 14 early in this second quarter.
I get need some veteran presence on the floor right now in subbing in Jesse, but I don't get taken out Keanu, who just got himself to the free throw line. I might have to call for an inquiry, Jack. Something's going on, man.
There's been a few questions about subbing patterns this year so far.
Royal Commission. Thief. You're thieving. The thievery. PJC, you cannot be casual around this man. He got arms like he's 7 feet tall. I love to know his wingspan, but he is so dangerous on the defensive end. He's going to get 1 or 2 of those pretty much a game.
It's his 3rd steal on the Amy replay.
Yeah, Ben Henschel, for all the good things that you bring to the game, you got to know who's on you. You got to be careful around this man.
Like a ninja. 39-33 in the Tangerine timeout. Mentioned Parker Jackson Cartwright being one of the leading players in the league for steals. You can find that stat, every other stat that we've got available for you, all the latest breaking news. It's all direct to your device. Just download the free NBL app now at nbl.com.au/app. And must admit, Damon, I spend far too much time on that app.
Yeah, you go down that rabbit hole, no, you lose all track of time. Like when I'm at the Crown Casino, put some clocks in there.
There's a reason for that. It's for suckers like you. That's why.
They see me coming. You know, just back to PJC while we got a minute here. See, this is how you get yourself involved, even if you're not scoring. You can play defense and get yourself involved. A layup like that could spark him into making a three-pointer. Anything can happen. There's two ends of the floor. You got to play both of them.
Tom Abercrombie was listening to John Riley, and I think it was a pretty animated one, Tom.
Yeah, John Riley very animated in that timeout. I'm going to translate it nicely for you. He said, please move the ball, guys. Just talking about some of the aggressive coverages from the Breakers and wanting his players to get that ball moving through some hands to make some easier options for his team.
He's such a gentleman, Tom.
Tom, I know you used to swear your head off in them timeouts, I'm sure. You ain't fooling me, Tom.
I refuse to believe it. He's too nice a guy.
Yeah, never sworn in my life, guys.
Jackson Cartwright making things happen. Good finish through contact from Mojave King.
Great job by Mo. Mo King seeing Parker penetrate. He don't just stand on the three-point line. He presented himself, cut baseline, and Parker rewarded him.
Back to an 8-point lead. Henshaw with room to fire. Wagstaff takes care of the long rebound. The Wildcats reset. Not long before halftime.
It's one of those trap games right now. This game has turned into a classic trap game, Jack. It was going to be a big-time marquee matchup, obviously, which bad luck to Bryce. Now that's no longer the case. Breakers relax now, thinking, well, how are they going to beat us without Bryce? And all of a sudden, a little bit of sloppiness creeps in. And Coach Pop sees it. That's why you might see some quick timeouts from time to time. But if the Breakers can string together 4 to 5 minutes of solid basketball, I think they can open this game up.
If you have just joined us, the news, which is a big one, is that Bryce Cotton is on his way to a local hospital with concerns about a rib injury. Will obviously take no further part in the game, but we'll give you updates if they become available from the club between now and the end of the game. But huge story. The league's best player not out there for the remainder of this one. And who knows what happens beyond that. Jackson Cartwright. A couple from that spot. Go begging.
What we're going to see with Perth, we're going to see Todd Withers activated probably next game. Import injury replacement. He's already played one game.
Henshaw, 4-point play coming up.
Good ball movement. A poor closeout by Mojave King and Ben Henshaw. You got to have a short memory. Yep, he got the ball taken from him earlier, but he goes. But out here on the three-point line, Jack, this is where I like to live. This is where I like to hang out.
Spoke about it earlier, played in the NBL in the offseason. Averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Was one of the dominant players in that competition. Couldn't make the extra, and Wagstaff couldn't reel it in.
Good hustle, though, Jesse. Repping all the old men out there in the league.
There's the Wildcats' brains trust. Trying to think of some new options, some different ways to win.
They're doing a good job of hanging around. They know they now offensively compromised. It's going to be a collective effort. Everybody's got to take the opportunities. Elijah Pepper, Ben Henshaw, Christian Doolittle, everybody's got to chip in more than what they would normally be required to. But defensively, they got to keep this thing close.
They're not shooting the ball well, unfortunately for them. Either the Wildcats, they're 3 of 13 from outside. They're shooting the 3 ball at just 31% for the season so far.
Outside of Elijah Pepper and Ben Henshaw, you probably wouldn't want anybody else really letting it fly from out there. Jesse Wagstaff more than capable of hitting the 3 ball. But everybody else, you might want to just reconsider your shot opportunities.
As soon as we finish up here, we take you to the Cairns Convention Centre in far north Queensland as the Taipans take on the high-flying Illawarra Hawks. They have been sensational to start this NBL 25 season, 4-1, and there does not look to be a weak link in this team.
Put some respect on their name. They ain't messing around this season. But I hope they got their heads right, because Cairns, even though they don't have Tanner Groves and Taron Armstrong, that is a tough place to get a dub. See, some teams want to go there early, Jack, to try to acclimatize, but guess what? You can't do it. The humidity won't let you do it. I don't care, in October, it doesn't matter. That is a tough place. You're trying to find air conditioning. You're wandering around malls like a zombie.
What would you rather do, just fly in the night before or the day of?
Well, the casino had air conditioning there.
That's can't be the option for everything.
Dylan Windler was having none of PJC's foolishness. Slap that against the glass.
John really calls for one good shot.
But Max Darling ain't the one you want to go at, I don't think.
Well, that'll work from Windler. Perth have got it back to 2. The Breakers with the last possession of the first half. Happy to foul Parker Jackson Cartwright.
In the backcourt.
Had a foul to give. Right now, this is 6.4 seconds of what we call flat. Just get a ball to Parker. Everybody get down to the baseline. And Christian Doolittle, good luck to you.
It was actually okay in the end.
Quick adjustment of the clock. 7.3 seconds is where we'll end up.
Right. That's correct. Ready, here we go.
Ball in the hands of the right man. Jackson Cartwright gets to work, left that one well short. It's been an almost half for PJC. He's 2 of 10 from the field.
Yeah, uncharacteristic.
Seeing if there's any time left.
Now, there was a travel. It's just a question of whether it was at the buzzer or after the buzzer. Thought maybe the senior official
0.6.
just checking that out. So we'll have 0.6.
Hey, remember the play before or not? 0.6.
Can get something in 0.6, can't you?
Yeah, you can throw a lob to the rim. This man right here, Max Darling, in very impressive one-on-one defense. He's guarding all positions and not giving up buckets. Love it.
Revelation tonight. Only played the one game for the entire season last year under Modi Mayor. Has started every game under Petteri Koppinen.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
I just get confused because whenever you say his last name, I feel like you're talking to me. I don't know whether you're calling me darling or you're talking about Max.
Got to come up with a nickname for maybe Maximilian.
That's it. He'll be the inbounder. 0.6 to work with. PJC got it away, it won't count. New Zealand lead by 2. And to the eye test, they probably should lead by a lot more.
I think they should. I think the Breakers are very fortunate to be down only up by 2. Sorry, only up 2. But the Perth Wildcats are they're very lucky, I should say, to be only down 2, because the offense just don't know where it's coming from. It's a little bit of everything. But I feel like the Breakers are the ones that's playing below their standard right now.
Perth have managed to find a way to stay in the game without their star, Bryce Cotton. 6 points from Max Darling has been a handy contribution. 12 points from Matt Mooney as well. He's been excellent in the first half. 4 of 7 from the field, 4 of 6 from outside. A couple of rebounds to go with that as well. He's playing with a hell of a lot of confidence right now, which is great to see. But the Breakers need more to come with him in the second half. And speaking of Matt, he's with Tom Abercrombie.
Yeah, I'm joined by Matt Mooney. Matt, fantastic first half from you. Felt like you had the ascendancy for most of that, but just a 2-point lead. What are you going to do better?
Yeah, we got to close out quarters better. You know, we didn't finish that quarter very well. I think we were, up 7 or 8 with a few minutes left, and they, cut the lead down to 2 going into half.
Yeah. And specifically, any big work-ons at either end for the second half?
Oh, we had a couple mishaps on defense, and I think offensively we're getting good looks. Just be patient. I think if we're patient, we get any look we want.
Good luck for the second half.
41-39 the score. Halftime here at Spark Arena. Stick with us. This is Saturday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Half-time at Spark Arena. He is a fan favourite with the Breaker Nation. Parker Jackson Cartwright back for his second season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Doing what he does best, Damon Lowry, picking pockets.
Taking things that you hold dear, the basketball. Yeah, if we look at this halftime stats, it's nothing really separating these two teams. Not three-pointers, the Perth. They win in the rebounding count by only a few, but to only be down by 2, shooting 38% from the field, it's a miracle that they're only down by 2.
Well, the big issue right now for the Perth Wildcats, and we mentioned it, the big story from this game so far is Bryce Cotton, the best player here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, on his way to hospital with a suspected broken rib.
We didn't even see what really happened. Seeing Bryce laying down like that, it made all of our ribs start to hurt. Hopefully it's not too long that he's going to be out, but we all know with rib injuries, they slow to heal. So now Perth got to find a way to make up for this unbelievable dude right here.
I think you find there's a lot of Wildcat supporters right now who are Googling how long it takes for broken ribs to be fixed.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, they're painful. Only an Iron Man could play with a bruised rib, but in a situation like this, the team just got to circle the wagons.
As we mentioned, he's on his way to hospital now, so we'll keep you up to date if we hear any more for the remainder of the game. From a Breakers perspective, a lot of discussion about Matt Mooney and his start to the season. Looks very comfortable tonight.
Came in with a shooter's reputation from the Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois, and his team did a good job finding him early. He got real hot. Extra pass by Max Darden, that corner 3-ball, nothing but net. He can shoot it going to his left. He can shoot it going to his right. You go under a screen or you don't show well enough, you're going to pay the price. So he got off to a great start, and then the team kind of went away from him a little bit. And this is that era, Jack, where it's so much equal opportunity. I would like to see them feature him more when he gets hot like that.
Look good, particularly that last clip when he turns the corner. He's got a beautiful shooting stroke. There's his Blackmore's shot chart, 4 of 6 from outside.
I would like to see him get up at least another 6 to 8 threes shooting. We want to find out just how hot you are, Matt. So,
Tom Abercrombie is, of course, royalty in New Zealand basketball. He's courtside at Spark Arena tonight. Tom, how did you see Perth's first half, particularly once Bryce Cotton went out of the game?
They looked a little bit lost initially, I think, but Damon mentioned it. It's been energy by committee, and no players in double figures, I believe, but everyone's chipped in and done a little bit, and they've done just enough to hang around. It feels like the Breakers should be up by more right now, but it's just a 2-point game, and Perth have got a much better basketball to play in the second half, you feel like.
Tom, what's your take, man, on Max Darden? I'm a big fan. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in his career. He's obviously starting every game, but this particular game today, he's showing me a lot on the defensive end as well as knocking down a couple of 3-balls.
Yeah, look, I had a big smile on my face, I must say, watching Max do what he did out there. Fantastic to see him just come off and go off in this game. I think he's been due. He's been given the starting role so far this year, and he's delivering tonight. He's shooting a 3, but I think defensively is where you see the value for him in this team. Look at him lock up Christian Doolittle here, just fantastic one-on-one defense. He's a really strong body. He's much more athletic than you think, and his energy has been absolutely fantastic for the Breakers tonight.
What happens next in this game, Tom? It's been a wild one so far.
It has. It's a hard one to pick, isn't it? I think the Breakers probably feel like they should be up a little bit more right now. Parker Jackson Cartwright probably hasn't got off just like he can. He's only got 4 points at halftime. I think there's more to come from him. I think this one's the Breakers to lose, but Perth, with a man down in Bryce Cotton, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to throw everything at this one.
Great work by you. Stick with us. It's halftime at Spark Arena. The Breakers 41, the Wildcats 39.
Now, Susan, could you see any difference between the two networks?
Not a single thing.
Exactly.
Take our blind network test, and if you can't see why millions of Kiwis rely on the country's fairest telco, get your money back.
Good health changes everything. So don't accept age as a limit or a bad night's sleep. Feel strong inside and out.
Snow capped peaks are closer than anywhere else. But somehow, on this ocean of snow, it's anything but cold. Plan your trip at visitutah.com.
If you haven't already, we have a brand new NBL25 merch available. In basketballs, with t-shirts, we have replica jerseys and the official playing kit. We've got our blue, we've got our pink, we've also got our new Indigenous jersey inspired by the power. If you haven't already, our next game at Spark Arena is Saturday the 2nd of November. We're taking on the Adelaide 36ers. Get your tickets from Ticketmaster.nz. That's ticketmaster.co.nz. And we've got some birthdays in the house. Big happy birthday to the born deliverer, Austin Beckham, who's 12. Happy birthday. Also to our listener, Frankie Wang, his son.
Thanks for being with us on Saturday Night Hoops. It's Cairns and Illawarra up next, and then tomorrow we turn our attention to the throwdown between Melbourne and South East Melbourne, the 26th edition of this rivalry, Damon Lowry. And this one's got a bit of a different look because Sam McKinnon, a legend of South East Melbourne basketball, will be at the helm for the first time tomorrow.
A legend, all right. Yep, everybody knows Sam work. His name speaks for itself. But that's going to be a tough game. They got some questions that need to be answered if they come out with the required fight.
And then Adelaide and Tasmania to finish up the round. The Jack Jumpers, they're a fascinating watch right now. They lost last night to the Sydney Kings, and Scott Roth said, we just can't score.
Yep, they're compromised, severely compromised in their scoring. The little big man, Jordan Crawford, did all he could do, but he didn't have any help. So, yeah, they're struggle.
Here's Ty Webster's first half. 4 points on 1 of 3, but from your perspective, it's about more than what you just see on screen there.
Absolutely. It's the post defense. It's the pushing of the ball in transition. You know, 5 rebounds for a guard, 4 assists. It's not up to Ty to go out and get 20 points. That's not going to be the answer. The answer is everybody else getting involved, and Ty does a great job at doing that. He has a stat of foul trouble, though.
Breakers lead by 2. Matt Mooney's their leading scorer with 12 points. Freddie Gillespie's an interesting one, Damon. 3 points in the first half. 3 rebounds, had a big block, which was a really good one. Are they getting enough out of him right now?
No, they're not. And he's not on the court that much. If you look at his rebounding numbers for the minutes played, it's not that bad. But for some reason, they have a wealth of 7-footers. Everybody on the team got size, it seems like. So Freddie's I feel like kind of lost right now in the rotation. His ability is there, but you can only do so much when you're sitting like that.
He was the first import sign when Perry Cotton took over as coach from Moti Mayor. Signed Freddie Gillespie very quickly, so he obviously knows what he's capable of.
He sees something, but he needs to let the rest of us see it, Jack.
We start the second half. Winlet from a long way out. He's knocked out of play. 0-5 now from deep. Dylan Winlet.
For the Perth Wildcats to only be down 2 and not have 1 player in double figures, that's remarkable.
Who's that saying more about?
It's saying more about the Perth Wildcats, I think. And, well, you know what? Breakers as well, because they letting them hang around. Who's that, Jack?
Max Darling.
Hello, Darling. Let him
He's
know.
having himself a night.
Let him know, Max.
We've barely seen him play in this league. Now he has 9 points on 3 of 4 from deep. Winler found Pinder as he was falling over.
And here comes the track meet.
Jackson Cartwright, 2 of 11 from the field in the first half. Down to Menenga. Spoken about making him a priority.
They might need to make Max Darling their priority. Good kick out by Matt Mooney.
looks good, that stroke.
There's nothing wrong with it. Good high release, good rotation. You've been teasing us all this time, Max. He didn't even shoot the ball, Jack, in game 1.
No. He's averaged 1.7 points a game this season. And the numbers are even lower, given that we haven't seen a lot of him in the couple of years prior. We're seeing a whole lot more of him. Jackson Cartwright with a hand in the face. This D from Pinder made life difficult.
And here's Ty. That is exactly what we're talking about, Jack. In transition, they get us stopped. You got to stop the ball early, especially with PJC on one end and Ty on the other end. That's what Ty does, puts pressure on the defense, gets himself easy ones to the line.
He steps to the line. 30 years of age, Ty Webster. New Zealander, go all the way back to 2013. He was part of that title team with the Breakers.
Just a youngin'. I remember Ty when he came down to Melbourne before he headed off to his first year of college at the University of Nebraska. My mate Chris Harriman recruited him. Seen him play for a long time.
Playing some very, very important minutes for Perth tonight without Bryce Cotton. I'm thinking of Bryce at the moment on his way to hospital in Auckland. Mooney got Henschel up in the air, bottom of the net.
Here's something I didn't think I'd ever say, Jack, but you got problems if you got Matt Mooney and Max Darling on the same side of the floor. Max turned down a triple as we see some transition offense here. No good, but you got Max Darling, who's hot. He makes the extra pass to Matt Mooney, who's also hot. Them two dudes, we might have to get them coming off turnouts. Some floppy action.
Breakers 10 of 23 from deep. Perth, on the other hand, are just 21% from long range.
That's hard to do.
Three ball is not their friend tonight. They're still finding other avenues, and this is a pretty good one.
Yeah, don't forget about Ty. He can be a bully like that. Taking advantage of Parker's size. You got to pick him up early. Because if he gets his head, if he gets downhill like that, he's tough.
8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for Ty Webster. Jackson Cartwright gets that one to roll the right way. Pinder in the team tonight. Force his way in, trying to make something happen. Play back through Webster, okay. The spin and the finish from Ty.
Okay, Ty, he'll lay up you to death. I said 20 points is something he probably would look at doing, but if he can get all those layups, he can easily get 20.
He's become the Wildcats' leading scorer.
Oh, no. And that's the only issue.
Hold. Stop.
Don't compound it, Ty.
I've seen the first hold first, okay? Whether he pushed it down after, I've got you for the first hold, okay?
Let's have another look.
Ty's got a strong, ooh, yeah.
Who's holding who?
That's a tough gig. That's a tough gig. Where do refs get paid? I don't know, not enough for me.
Mooney drives, his pass was intercepted. Doolittle saw it coming. They just continue to stay in this game, Perth.
Yeah, Perth shoot themselves in the foot. New Zealand shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, but Perth, full credit to them. They're not making it easy. They're just not gonna lay down. This is the point in the movie, Jack, where I say the first team to 80 wins.
Wildcats have won 3 of their last 4 games at this venue versus the Breakers, so it holds no fears. It's such a tough place to win, but clearly not for Perth. Darling. Bolden had the seal and chose not to use him down low. Menenga for Mooney. Feet set. Got it.
Wow. A whole lot happened on that particular passage of play. We saw Jonah pick and roll, which is rare in itself. He wasn't committed to the seal, though, but the ball movement, Sam Menenga with one of the best shot fakes in the league. Gets him up flying and gets Matt Mooney another wide open triple.
6 made threes in the game now for Matt Mooney. Dylan Windler at the other end is 0 of 6.
Oh, for Saturday night from downtown.
A timeout with 5:44 remaining.
You know what, Max Darling?
No timeout. Oh, there was a call of timeout.
Max Darling getting subbed out after 3.5 minutes, 4.5 minutes. I think he's now got the right, Jack, to go, hey, coach, what the hell you doing? Are you watching the game? I'm balling out here.
He's been important. 9 points and 4 rebounds. Mooney feeling good. Big offensive rebound by Gillespie. Karen forced one. Webster, Almanza, Michael Harris, Hiram Harris, Elijah Pepper out there for Perth. King, McCarron, Mooney, Gillespie, and Bolden for the Breakers.
Yeah, Johnny's going with a 3-guard offense in the future. Their future backcourt at some point, Elijah Pepper, Michael Harris, Ben Henschel. That is the very bright future. They all stay in Australia.
New Zealand lead by 5. It's been around that mark for pretty much all of this third quarter. A reminder that earlier in the game, it was a 14-point lead to the home team.
You got problems. Yeah, that's just a... Every coach says stop the ball in transition, but man, when Parker's got it, he's never not fast. He just don't know how to be slow.
So a frustrating night from the field, but still finding other ways to be involved. He's a +9 for the game, PJC, which is a good effort considering he's 3 of 13. Play back through him.
Go to work, Freddie.
Gillespie with his back to the basket. And a little jumper rattles out. It's been the story this season.
I like to see him just drop step, be a grown man instead of that fadeaway. A lot of the big shooting fadeaways, yeah, you can make it, but you're not going to draw any fouls doing that. You had a mismatch down low. Mitchell McCarron is the equivalent of Ty Webster for New Zealand Breakers. They have a similar role. Not designed to fill up the stat sheet, but do so many intangibles that you need as a backup guard and bring a lot of veteran leadership to the floor.
Nice touch from the next star, Ethan Almanza. Three-point game. Jackson Cartwright. Little pass off to Mojave King.
Wow. Another known shooter. Great athlete, Mo King. Good penetration and kick, and it's like one 3-point shooter subs off, another 3-point shooter comes on.
46% from outside to start the season, Mo King. Now, Harris rarely needs an invitation. He's fouled with an extra to come.
Channeling his inner Bryce Cotton. Shoot the 3 ball. You get in his landing space. It's a 4-point play. And they just hanging around, Jack.
With Bryce Cotton not available, many other Wildcats are having their numbers called, and they're all answering the call.
And this is how you build depth, too. Sometimes it, you know, it invites itself. Adversity shows up. You never know when she gonna show up, but you gotta be ready.
12 of 18 from the charity stripe. Not to improve that stat. Anticevic, another known shooter out there. Offensive foul.
Caught Freddie Gillespie trying too hard to get him open. I like to see him show that same effort in sealing where he gets actually fouled.
It's 4 on Mojave Kings, 3 on McCarran and 3 on Jonah Bolden. Harris denied by Gillespie. Took it out of the sky and said no.
Good pass.
Extra pass for Anticevic. Perfect play from the Breakers.
Wow, all started by Freddie Gillespie, who's having none of the foolishness. And PJC in transition, the rest is history. Corner ball 3.
Almanza heads back to the same spot. We've spoken about Freddie Gillespie and some of the areas that he's perhaps not performing in. This is one that he excels in.
Yeah, Hiram. Not in that particular situation. No, Freddie's a defender. He's a shot blocker. He's not on the court all that much. But if you go into the paint and challenge this man, you might have to pay the iron price.
58-52 at Spark Arena. Anticevic puts the ball on the floor this time. Pulls up. Rebound handled by Almanza.
What?
Pepper from across the Tasman.
Cayenne Pepper from way down there. He is not shy.
He will shoot at any opportunity. Why not if you can shoot like that? Mooney.
It's turned at the other end. It's turned into a three-point contest. Tom Abercrombie, what do you see down there right now? What do you see down there right now that's kind of reminding you of the good old days?
Well, it's a bit of a grind for the Breakers right now, which does remind me of the good old days a little bit. Struggling to score at times. This man needs to get going. Parker Jackson Carro's been a little bit quiet tonight. Been probably subbed a little bit more than we usually see. Perhaps fatigue is a bit of a factor, but he's going to be a big factor coming into the fourth quarter. It seems like it has been all game long. The Breakers just struggling to extend that lead against Perth.
The biggest lead of the quarter, Tom, you're spot on, has been 6. The current lead is 5. Just backs that point up.
And just one more. Just one more, Tom. Just on Freddie Gillespie, he's obviously kind of deep in the rotation. He has his particular set of skills. But what do you see? What are you hearing over there in the streets of New Zealand about Freddie and his future there?
I think he's obviously aware of the situation happening in the background with Tako, and from all accounts, the club is keen on bringing Tako Fall in, but they haven't had a chance to look at him yet because he has been injured. So pretty awkward position to put Freddie Gillespie in, not knowing if his job is safe, but all he can do is go out there in the minutes that he's given and try and prove himself. He plays hard when he's out there. He wants to be there, but that's a situation to keep monitoring going forward for the club.
What have you made of that situation, Damon, and the kind of constant presence of Tako Fall potentially coming in?
I don't like it at all, Jack. It does not pass the pub test. You do not bring in another man. I don't care if he's 8'6". You don't bring in another man and bring him, let him train. Like, what is your current guy on the team supposed to think? What does that do to the morale of the team? I know in Europe sometimes they do that, but like here in Australia, that's just not something that we do. And kudos to Freddie Gillespie for just, like Tom says, just being a professional and just doing what you do when you get out there.
You try and square up with him at training. Mooney again. That's 7.
Good grief.
This is what we've been waiting for from Matt Mooney. 21 points on 7 of 10 from deep. That shooting stroke is pure.
It'd take the average man 3 games to hit 7 triples.
Harris throws up an air ball. Pull! He does pull up.
Come on, Matt! Way to heat up, Mooney! We got Eminem, the greatest rapper in the world. We might have another Eminem, Matt Mooney, the greatest New Zealand shooter ever. Maybe not.
The only regret is that he put his toe on the line.
Oh, no.
65-55. He is taking this game apart.
Oh. Stare down triple out the right hand. Yeah. You want to test my range? That's no problem for this. Look at the rotation in the ball. We got to bring back the all-star game and the three-point contest.
And if he shoots it like this on his Blacksmore shot chart, then he's going to be a big part of that. Look at those green dots all over the floor.
Could have been 8 of 11. Toe wasn't just too big.
As we said, he came with such a reputation, 5 NBA games, but wherever he's been a shooter. Played last season in Italy, also played in the Bundesliga and in Turkey as well. And all throughout his college career had a great reputation as a shooter, but it just hasn't happened, but now it is happening.
Once a shooter, always a shooter. And the good thing about the break is because, and a lot of teams probably go through this, when they got so much depth, it's hard because you can't establish a rhythm because you're going to get subbed out every 3 to 4 minutes. But when he does come back on the floor, his team knows where to find him.
A 10-point lead to the Breakers. Tom, you were listening to John Riley.
Yeah, look, just a timeout there from John Riley, just to halt the momentum, which is pretty significant from Matt Mooney, igniting the Spark Arena crowd with a flurry of threes. So the energy is well and truly with the Breakers right now. That timeout just to try and halt that. For the most part, he's happy with how the guys are going this quarter, but got to keep a closer eye on Matt Mooney.
Windler drives. Gillespie's got another one. Puts another one in the canoe.
Freddie throwing a block party, and everybody's invited. Who's the DJ at the block party? Matt Mooney gambles up the front, up top, got beat off the back cut, didn't matter.
I guess you can do that when you've got that sort of help.
Yeah, you can afford to gamble.
Shot clock at 7. Henschel from the free throw line, it's good.
Wow, tough pull-up by the youngster. Great pull-up and one over the outstretched arms of Freddie Gillespie. Ben Henschel has no fear. Fear does not live in that man's heart, Jack.
Great to see him getting some extended opportunity, averaging 18 minutes a game across the season so far. Last season was only averaging 6 minutes per game.
We are lucky in the NBL that he is not playing for the University of such and such and decided to stay right here. The league is better with him in it. Don't know how long he's going to be in it the way he's playing.
Jackson Cartwright trying to slice and dice. Here he is at the buzzer. Yes! Parker Jackson Cartwright finally gets one to drop. And the Breakers finish the quarter in style. 68-58 at Spark Arena. A smile on his face. And they've got plenty to be happy about right now.
There's the way they sharing the ball. As hot as Matt Mooney is, he created that open shot for Parker. He's got 7 triples. He sees his mate Parker struggling a little bit. He gets him open and Parker knocks it down.
Stick with us. The final quarter is coming up next. This is Saturday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It was an arm wrestle for much of the third quarter, but the Breakers finished with a flurry, and they lead 68-58 with a quarter remaining at Spark Arena.
This has been a game of miniature runs. Both teams kind of get they get a little tiny lead, the Breakers, and Perth reel them back in, but the way they just finished that quarter was the best quarter they finished, because like the first two, they let it slip. So Perth right now got some problems.
And bad news for the Wildcats is they've only won one fourth quarter so far for the season. Mooney. Jackson Cartwright. Can't bury that three. What needs to happen for Perth in the last quarter, Damon?
They got to get Keanu Pinder involved. He's only played the 17 minutes. He's 3 of 3 from the field. They got to find a way to get him involved and staying engaged. And obviously defensive transition, Jack. Because look at my man. Look at my man, Darling, handling his business.
How have we barely seen Max Darling until this season?
Right now, Max Darling's agent's got his chest poked out somewhere going, wait till I call you next.
He was signed as a prodigious young talent when Brian Goorjian was at the Illawarra Hawks, and has been battling for court time. This is his breakout game. A little casual there from Mooney, but a late whistle. Foul on Perth.
Christian Doolittle, Jack, has only got the 7 points. He's 2 of 10 from the field. Not having one of his better days. Ty Webster's the leading scorer with 10 points. Now, that's probably not a recipe for a dub. No disrespect to Ty, but they got to get more out of everybody else.
Double-digit lead to the Breakers. They made their move at the back end of the third quarter.
Oh, don't fake the back cut. You can see the way Perth playing D on the perimeter. Everybody's scared to leave their man now. So I'm anticipating some Parker Jackson just layups.
It's 4 of 17. Mitch McCarron comes in. Jackson Cartwright sits down. Does Ty Webster need to play every minute of this last quarter if Perth are any chance?
Oh, they got to leave him out there, but I need another scorer out there with him, either Henschel or Michael Harris. Like, he's just making things happen in a transition kind of way. That's like a real slow transition. Uh-oh.
It's the last thing they need, Perth, is another injury.
Here's the dilemma, too, that the coach, I think, faces in this situation. So Johnny really sees the score. We're down 12. Maybe I need more defense out there on the floor. As we see Ty put pressure on the rim and draw that foul. So you think, okay, do I put defensive guys out there on the floor to keep the score down? But those same defensive guys don't get the scoreboard ticking over. So it's catch-22. I put the offensive guys out there, but they can't get stops. That coaching gig is hard.
Better off sitting here instead. Especially when you call me darling. That's nice.
Little terms of endearment between commentators.
Get that at home. It's nice to get it here. Still plenty of time for the Wildcats. You're going to have to do this one the hard way and do it without the benchmark. The double comes for Mooney. Ty Webster making things happen again. Timeout, New Zealand.
Okay, they were not going to let him come off that ball screen and pull up for his 8th triple.
It's back to 8 in the Tangerine timeout.
We've seen, Jack, New Zealand in the past, not that long ago, just put on the wobbly boots.
Yeah.
The game looks like it's under control, and all of a sudden, turnovers, some poor shot selection, lets the team back in it. Great timeout by Coach Pop to refocus and get this game. 8 minutes to go is plenty of time, and Perth are not going to lay down.
Coming off a loss on Thursday to the Brisbane Bullets. The New Zealand Breakers, they've got a lot of games in a short space of time. Doubleheader next week. Doubleheader in round 7. Every win is worth its weight in gold right now.
In a 28-game season, you just cannot afford to give teams head starts. You can't be messing around.
$70-62 at Spark Arena. First of our Saturday night doubleheader here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Damon Lowry and Jack Heverin. Tom Abercrombie courtside.
Yeah, guys, I've had a bit of a chat to the Breakers medical staff who've been in contact with the doctor here on the ground, just confirming that, yes, Bryce Cotton has been taken to hospital, but just precautionary. Obviously, the Perth Wildcats got a big flight tomorrow, so they just want to check that nothing's going on there. It's precautionary, nothing confirmed about any breaks or fractures to the rib. Obviously suspected, but nothing confirmed at this stage, and just a precautionary trip to the hospital to make sure he's all right to get on that flight tomorrow.
That's a great update, Tom. Thank you for that. Hopefully good news coming.
Yep, so everybody...
Red Army.
Yeah, so everybody can just chill out with their speculation until we got something confirmed.
It's a major concern for them. We've got the Kings next Friday night in Sydney. With games against Illawarra, South East Melbourne, Tasmania, and Melbourne on the horizon.
What's his name, Jack? Darling!
Say it!
Come on, darling! We love you, darling! He balling out! Good Lord!
14 points for Max Darling.
Second leading scorer. Who had that on their bingo card?
And for those who are asking some questions about why he's starting, all of those questions have been put to bed tonight.
Never ask it ever again. This man can do a whole bunch of stuff. Free balls, one-on-one defense, switch that on guards, blocking shots. You name it, Max Darling can do it. If only there was a column, Jack, that highlighted brilliant play from individuals.
Yep.
If only there was such a column existed.
Where can we find that column, please?
Okay.
Got a fair idea who's getting the hoo-yah this week. Check it out on the Fox Sports website. .6:45 remaining. Mooney still the leading scorer in the game. That's 23 points. On an 8 of 14 shooting. Webster flies to the other end. That was interesting from Windler. Big offensive rebound by Doolittle. Turned back into traffic.
Coach Papa's doing a good job, I feel, with his subs, even though I'm not a heavy sub guy, but he knows the workload these guys have been under the last few weeks, and he seems to be keeping fresh bodies on the floor.
His third three of the night, played a nice cameo off the bench.
Yeah, University of California Bears, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. Had a couple coffee with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Can stroke it.
Hiram Harris, unlikely three-point shooter. The last two looks from outside have been Pinder and Hiram Harris. McCarron had the pass knocked down. Mooney thought about it. Instead, sees Pinder matched up in front of him. Wasn't there.
Yeah. He's a little bit gun shy on that one because they've been trapping his ball screens. Hey, Matt, you made 7 threes, man. Let it fly.
Speaking of Max Darling, Tom Abercrombie, you spent a bit of time with this young man. Did you know that this was within his capabilities?
Well, I can see this coming from Max Darling. He was with us all last year as a development player, and as we spoke about, didn't get a whole lot of opportunities under Modi Mayor, but you can see the physical tools he has. He's only 24 years old, we've got to remember as well. He's had quite the basketball journey. Went over and played in Croatia when he was just a teenager. So went professional really early on. It's taken him a little while to find his feet and get healthy. He's had a few injury problems, but you see the physical tools that he's got, and he's been given the opportunity now. The coaching staff have stuck with him through the first few games of the season. People have answered some questions, and he's answered all of them tonight. Very happy for Max Starling.
We all are, man. Wow, 24 years old. That guy's future could not be any brighter. Tom, what do the Breakers got to do, man? We've seen how they can get wobbly late in games. What needs to happen to close this game out?
Yeah, they've shown some speed wobbles in the past few weeks, haven't they? But hopefully they've learned from that. I think when you build a bit of a lead and you're trying to protect it late in the game, you can be guilty of losing that aggressiveness and just trying to protect the lead instead of continuing to play. So hopefully they've learned that lesson. They continue to play hard out there, but shots like that from Christian Doolittle are going to help the Wildcats.
Doolittle stepping to the line for the extra. I don't think Coach Cotton agreed with that call.
Somebody Google how to say BS in Finnish.
Pretty sure that translation's the same as English, David. That's a universal word.
Good job by Christian Doolittle. He's a guy that don't just settle for what the defense gives him. Everybody's closing out short. They encourage him to shoot the three ball, but he's determined to put that ball on the floor, maybe 1-2 dribbles, and once he raises up, he seems to get that call quite often.
Perth are within 8. And those wobbles that we've spoken about with the Breakers, they're real. And we'll be trying to put this one to bed in the next minute or so. Take all of the risk out of it. Menenga picked that up off his ankles. Mojave King can't score. The home team get another look at it. This time King inside, scores and one.
A hell of a continuation. Good job by Sam Menenga, who's had a quiet game by his standards, but he kept that second shot, that opportunity alive, got on the glass, and when you're on PJC Island, you got some problems. But Mo's an athlete, so good job by the Breakers, just consolidating, just doing just enough.
He's another very interesting watch this season, Mojave King. We've seen him as a next star here in the NBL. He's been drafted, pick number 47 by the Los Angeles Lakers. He's got all of the capabilities that you could possibly ask for.
He's got the athleticism. He can shoot the three ball. He's only young. It's just a matter of just finding the right fit. Now, he's only playing limited minutes. As Christian, hey, it's three ball time. Christian Doolittle said, you know what, the percentages, they sometimes lie.
We've spoken about it. There's a timeout coming up for the Breakers. We've spoken about it a lot tonight, Damon. They lost Bryce Cotton early in the first quarter. It is a credit to the Perth Wildcats in this Tangerine timeout that they have remained somewhere close.
And because it's happened so early, it's almost like they had plenty of time to adjust to it. If that happens in the second quarter or something, or the third quarter, it gets more difficult.
Coming up next, it's the Cairns Taipans playing host to the Illawarra Hawks. Ariana Prather is courtside.
We have a great matchup here tonight, the Hawks versus the Taipans. Now, I'm not too superstitious, but the Hawks have only won 4 out of their last 16 matchups here in this convention center. Now, in order for them to get this big road win, I think we're going to have to do exactly what Tyler Harvey told me pregame, which is just focus on their offensive intensity. They have the #1 offensive rating in the NBL so far, so they just need to keep that train rolling. Whatever they're doing, they just need to stick to that and not try to keep it too complicated. Now for Cairns, you have a chip on your shoulder, and this is a huge statement game and an opportunity for you to get a great win at home. I'm excited for tonight's matchup, and let's see who pulls it off.
That is coming up very shortly. The Cairns Taipans, who have lost their last 2 against the Illawarra Hawks.
Cairns are going to make you earn it. Believe that. They are not going to lay down at all. So if they can come out and get off to a good start, the Hawks are obviously high octane. So I would suggest take the air out of the ball a little bit, take the possession, slow it right down, and see if you can get that game in the 80s.
And if you like buckets, then Illawarra are your team. They average 104 points a game. The next best is 92.
Their offense is like their defense, but they also defend, so Cairns got their hands full.
3.5 minutes at Spark Arena. Still to play. Breakers have led exclusively all night long. Shot clock at 5. Darling upstairs.
About to pass out in here, Jack. That's all I needed to finish it off. Good job by PJC. He's inviting the double team. Sam with the extra pass, and Dylan Windler. Oh, you got lucky.
It's now 15 points for Max Darling.
That's one of my free throws. Watch up.
How can you not be absolutely wrapped for a guy like this who's just battled his way through his young career? Flying so below the radar.
Imagine spending an entire season, Damon, as a development player and playing one game.
Yeah, the average man, as Ty Webster goes and gets him an easy one in transition. A lesser man might have would have packed it in. Not my man Max.
They're still there, Perth. They're within 7.
Cop's seen this movie before. He's like, fellas, can we just get back on D? Can we stop the ball? These are the little things like, okay, you might can get away with it from time to time against certain teams, but against the cream of the crop, that is not going to be enough. And Coach Pop knows this. And every time they do it, like a parent, Jack, like you do at home, you might have to give them a little clip, a little love and tap, just as a reminder.
There's some big instruction from John Riley. Spoke about what's coming up next. Tomorrow, fascinating day to finish off round 5 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Melbourne and Southeast Melbourne, a sellout for Throwdown at John Cain Arena, and then Adelaide. That'll be just about a sellout as well. The 36ers fans are all over their team right now against the Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to change your mind in John Cain Arena. It's gonna be so tight in there tomorrow, and we all know how those South Australians turn up in droves, so good to see everybody getting out because this is some high-quality basketball. The league is flying.
And don't forget, Montrezl Harrell here for the remainder of the season for the Adelaide 36ers, and for the first time, we'll see Jarrell Martin tomorrow for Adelaide.
Now we talking. Now it gets real interesting. They got a 3-headed monster, maybe 4, because Trez got like 2. He's worth like 2 heads. That's how much he balls out. Now we got to see how Coach Mike Wells handles that rotation.
79-72. Less than 3 minutes remaining. Jackson Cartwright all the way in, slicing and dicing.
Just call me Nostradamus. Everybody staying at home, Jack. Parker knows they're double teaming. This is what I was suggesting. But look at that, they tie up the other end. I hadn't even finished my peel. Let me finish my spill, Ty. He invites the double team, splits it. Ty gets down in transition, does what he's been doing all game. The Breakers are just trying to just score enough to win instead of just doing it on the defensive end.
What about Ty Webster's night? 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
He don't need one little apple turnover. He's 100% for the free throw line, and I did not jinx him either.
Close this game out, New Zealand. They've had multiple opportunities. The back end of the 3rd quarter and the start of the 4th. They've left the door ajar for the Wildcats. Gillespie falls over in the keyway. Shot clock down to 3. Mooney is fouled.
They played 23 seconds of good defense. And Ty got a little over-aggressive. But I think the Breakers are making a mistake here, Jack, because PJC just pounding the ball, using up the whole shot clock. I don't mind that in certain situations, but right now the defense is just all focused on you. Maybe they need to get some more ball movement, get some more player movement, so it gets a little bit easier.
Season high night for Matt Mooney. Off the back of 13 points. He was 1 of 9 from outside on Thursday. Tonight, 7 of 10.
And this is what every import at some point got to do to show the coach, to show their teammates, this is why you brought me here. You don't want to be the import that comes out here and end up back on the plane because you was fake advertising. So Matt Mooney is proven. We all knew he could do this, but you had to do it though. So good night by him. He can get himself to the free throw line. Defense is solid enough.
Bit of breathing room now for New Zealand. Wagstaff no good. Offensive rebound. Gives Perth another look at it. Henschel from the corner. Ben Henschel with a big one.
Wow. Everything that you don't want to do to close out a game, that's one of them. Giving up offensive rebounds. The Breakers are making it tough for themselves.
They need this stop, the Perth Wildcats. They haven't been able to get any closer than around this number for most of the fourth quarter. Jackson Cartwright, shot clock at 3, blocked by Henschel, making big plays at both ends. Here he is at the top of the key. Webster rolls that shot clock down into single figures. Wagstaff's floater goes. It's a 4-point game.
Here's what I'm talking about. PJC had like 32 dribbles in that possession. Nobody touched the ball, ends up with getting his shot blocked. Run some offense.
They trail by as much as 14, the Wildcats. Mooney's lob was ambitious. Here's PJC. The Breakers will get another chance.
Good extra pass by Freddie Gillespie. Got Parker a wide open shot. Parker's clearly exhausted. They only just played a couple days ago, and nobody's using it as an excuse, but it's just obvious. It's when you get tired, what are you going to settle for? Let the ball do the work.
Just having a look at the out of bounds. They were outscored 20-9 in the last 6 minutes on Thursday against Brisbane.
And this is what's happening again. And it's all about how they execute down the stretch. It gets too terminal.
Nice pass off the inbound. Tisevich went up strong.
Nice slip. This is a cardinal sin in basketball. We all know it. You don't give up a layup off an inbounds play off the baseline. So good job by Grant. Setting a little sneaky screen and slipping to the ball, to the basket, and gets himself to the stripe.
Fixing the clock.
You like that hairstyle?
I'm thinking John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. He's out there, young Grant, isn't he?
Sure is. He can shoot.
Says the guy trying to grow an old high top from 40 years ago.
Yes. I have nothing to offer on the subject. Not one thing. Sydney Sider. His journey has been an interesting one so far.
This door couldn't be any more wide open for the Perth Wildcats to steal this game, Jack.
Bryce Cotton would be handy right now, but Perth are finding other ways to do it. Henschel was aggressive. Jackson Cartwright comes up with it.
The big defensive stop when they need it. All started by Max Darling over there on the wing, containing his man. Perth tried to penetrate, tried to get themselves, put pressure on the rim and put pressure on the referees. And you got to be too careful around this little long-arm vice president, PJC.
5 steals tonight. A certified thief. The door is still ajar. Perth will need to be perfect from here. That'll help. Henschel for 2.
You didn't need that. You didn't need that foul right then. Still, they could have got a stop and got a bucket and kept it to like a 1-possession game, and then you played a foul game.
Little blood for Freddie Gillespie.
Freddie's had a solid night in his minutes. 2 or 3 from the field, about 15 minutes a game, 15 minutes this game. 8 boards. Been a factor. Sam Meninga's been a little bit quiet, but they got so much depth in the big man department with Jonah Bolden as well. And who knew the Max Darling game was gonna, we got front row seats, Jack, to the Max Darling game.
Tick down to 30 seconds left. Ty Webster scores and 1. They will not go down.
Good grief. Ty in transition. Transition Ty. This just must drive Coach Pop nuts. Darling, you have to fight him way harder than that. Cannot close out a game.
Steps to the line to make it a 20-point night in his home country. And to make it a 2-point game.
Says the guy that says you don't need 20 points out of Ty, but he can do it if he's getting all layups and free throws.
The ball is in New Zealand's court right now. Perth choose not to foul. They'll get another look beyond this. John really screaming, no fouls.
All right, flatten it out. Flatten it out.
Shot clock at 7. Jackson Cartwright threw it up with the left hand, can't score. Breakers get it back. Now they'll have to foul.
Wow, great job, Sam Meninga. I saw it. Parker got all the way to the rim, but they couldn't box out. They kill us. Now you put one of the hottest guys in the country to the stripe.
In a game of this margin, the little things are the big things.
100% facts right there, Jack. Yep. New Zealand only got themselves to blame, but good job by Perth. Ty kept pushing the pace, just doing enough. And this game still ain't over, even if both these free throws go down.
Matt Mooney has been outstanding tonight. It's the performance that we've been waiting for. 26 points, 7 made threes.
And just to show that he is not a selfish, one-dimensional player, he's also got 5 assists, but that jump shot is pure. Ain't no other way to describe it. Anybody that can go 70% from deep with that number of attempts, that's a weapon.
We spoke about it in the game that it's taken him a little while to find his feet, which is often the case for imports in this league. He shoots it like that. He's going to make a lot of friends very quickly.
He's going to be around for a while.
Cairns and Illawarra up next after the Saturday switch.
Both these free throws go down. Perth called a timeout, advance the ball. You don't need a 3. quick two, play the foul game. You technically should not lose from here if you're the Breakers, unless, of course, you choke from the stripe.
11 of 16 from the line tonight, the Breakers. Never in doubt.
Never looked right.
It is a two-possession game. The odds are insurmountable now for the Wildcats, you would think.
That's a travel. Doesn't matter now.
Quick check for some time on the clock, but the party can begin at Spark Arena.
There's 1.2 seconds. There's 1.2 seconds.
That's a travel.
That's a travel all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Timeout, guys.
I thought Perth could advance the ball. I thought they had a timeout to advance the ball. They didn't, so they had to just play it and get the best available shot they could get. But it was not to be for Perth.
Tangerine timeout. It'll be a win for New Zealand, but it's worth us just taking a moment to talk on the Perth Wildcats. To lose Bryce Cotton, that was tough for them. What was even tougher for them was that Max Darling, of all of the names that were on the scout, this is perhaps the one they didn't consider.
Nobody saw it coming. The Max Darling game. Block shots, 15 points, 5 of 7. That's some type of high percentage. He can shoot corner threes. He can defend on the perimeter. We've spoken about it. And just the persistence of this young dude, who was a DP, like you said, Jack, and only played in one game. Didn't hang his head, didn't go pout, didn't say, oh, man, I'm being screwed. Just kept grinding. Loved the work ethic, loved the work rate. And now he deserves the success, every bit of it.
He secured his position as a starter, no question about that. Been a gritty performance from the Wildcats. To come to New Zealand and win is tough. Going to Cairns and winning is equally as tough, and that is the task ahead of the Hawks next.
It just keeps coming, and yeah, full credit, well, not full credit, because they look like they're going to lose, Perth Wildcats, but you got to commend them, because we often say, are they a one-man team? They're not, but sometimes they can be too Bryce dependent. But today they just show what they're capable of without him there. Now, if they can just kind of mesh that when Bryce does come back, they got themselves something to work with. But I'm still, Jack, concerned about Keanu Pinder. He just is something not quite right. So, yeah, but they're going to need him. He's too important of a piece.
The Breakers on their home floor close this one out. They're back from their travel, and they're back at home where they know how to win. 89-85, the final score. They were pushed all the way, though, by the Wildcats.
They did. Perth made them earn it. New Zealand got some things they need to work out as far as finishing games, offensive execution down the stretch, transition defense. That'll be high up on the priority list when they get to training this week. But good job by the Breakers, because, Jack, you will take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day.
There's Matt Mooney, our Foot Locker player of the game. Shot the lights out tonight. 28 points, 7 of 10 from outside. And as Damon said, unselfish as well, getting other players into the game with 5 assists. So the Breakers are now back. They've got a lot of games in a short space of time. They host Southeast Melbourne at Wolfbrook Arena on Thursday night. Then they travel to Sydney to play the Kings on Sunday. But after losing Thursday, a little bit of confidence from tonight.
Yep, they're going to play catch-up because of that trip away to the States. But they bonded. I like the way they playing when they share the ball. They're looking good.
We're back to wrap it up on the other side of this.
Mooney, a shooting display And the rivalry with Perth keeps on going. This is another chapter in the Perth Wildcats beating NZ Breakers. What was it like playing tonight?
It's a lot of fun. You know, it's my second time playing here in front of these fans, and these fans are incredible. And, you know, I appreciate you guys showing up.
Thank you. Let's hear it from Mooney. Let's hear it for the counties of Manukau and Tauranga kids. With a sign of respect to the NZ Breakers for their mammoth win.
It's always a tough proposition, and it was tough again for the Perth Wildcats tonight. Made even tougher with the loss of Bryce Cotton in the first quarter. 89-85, the final score. The Breakers get the job.
Breakers did enough, Jack. That's all you got to do is just win the game. Even though it wasn't pretty down the stretch the way they finished it, they can work on that later. But it's better to work on that than with the loss.
Matt Mooney had 28 points, and a shout out to Max Darling, who scored 15 points tonight. Had only scored 15 points for his career coming into this game.
Max Darling, you've been teasing us, man. You've been bluffing the whole time. Keep it going. Keep it going, man.
It's the Taipans and the Hawks coming up in half an hour from now. The Cairns Convention Centre playing host to that one. On behalf of Damon Lowry, Tom Abercrombie, and our team behind the scenes who make all of the magic happen, thanks so much for being with us on Saturday Night Hoops.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Make some time, stop and visit the Snake Store where you can find all your favourite Taipans merchandise, including the all-new team apparel available to purchase right